Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we are going to be talking about the stables. This is a really awesome building that's got loads of gameplay, and more importantly, it gets you a whole bunch of really cool mounts, which is something that I am, of course, very much in support of, because, hey, collecting mounts is fun. Now, this is a video that is actually quite a long time in the making. Basically, this building is all set off daily quests, and the daily quests will involve you training up a beast, so yeah, that's why it basically took like a month. I started working this a month ago, and like sort of every once in a while I do the quests, and eventually I got to the stage where I tamed 2 of the beasts. Anyway, so what is the deal with the stable? Well, basically, at level 1 it gives you access, level 1 and 2 give you access to various beasts that can be your mounts, which is pretty nice, and at level 3 it will give you a 20% mounted speed increase while you're out in the world. That's really awesome. Like, that's pretty damn cool. The only thing, though, is that since this is a large building, I think there are perhaps other more useful level 3 perks. So honestly, I think that what most people will do is they'll get this building, then they'll get all of the pets that they like, or the mounts that they like, and then they'll probably just swap over to something else. Actually, I forgot to mention, at level 2, you are able to interact with objects, so if a quest maybe wants you to pick something up, then yeah, at level 2 you can interact with objects while still being able to be mounted. And that's a really nice quality of life feature that's pretty cool. So in general, what happens with these quests is you first of all get a quest to tame one of the beasts, and that just involves finding one of the young animals, like a smaller version in a specific area of Draenor, and then you do this basic like little mini game thing. Now this mini game just involves you lassoing them and then trying to keep up with them, which is pretty nice. So that's what's going on there. It seems like you get a new one of those taming quests every day until you tame most of the mounts, or at least that's what it's like in the beta, but perhaps that might be a little bit more spread out. Now, after you've tamed these pets, you will of course need to train them up, because they're not immediately mounts. I said pets. Now, once you like get the small, like, young mount, it does take a few days of doing quests to get them all ready to be ridden around like a regular mount. So the way that that works is you will get a daily quest for every one of the beasts that you have in your stable, and over time, as you do these quests, they get bigger, a bit faster and all that, and then eventually you will complete the final quest and unlock it as a mount. Now, these quests are actually, they're not particularly exciting. Basically, you just go to an area of Draenor where there is a specific enemy, you fight that enemy, and after you're done fighting the enemy and you've killed it, then that's it, quest done, and you go back to your garrison. Now, these quests will actually give you 100 resources per day. Obviously, you can complete these quests once a day, and that's pretty cool, actually. It's a decent-ish way of getting resources for your garrison, which is nice. And overall, that's essentially the main bit of gameplay that you've got going on here. However, there is one other thing. Now, this is a cool little mechanic that will actually modify the difficulty. There is an item called the Black Claw of Seath that will increase your damage taken by 25% and reduce your movement speed by 25%. Then there's also the Garntooth Necklace, which will increase your damage taken by 50%, and your movement speed is reduced by 50% as well. Now, if you're wondering why the hell you want to do that, well, basically there are achievements that you can unlock for doing these quests with these little items that make it harder for you. And the quests themselves, they're not particularly hard, though some of them will involve you moving around the place so you don't get hit by a frontal cone, or perhaps maybe having a DPS race. I know that in item level 599 gear at level 100, there was one of these which was actually rather close to the bone in terms of DPS, though I eventually was able to kill it. Anyway, after all that's done, you get your mounts, that's it, the end, basically. Once you have the mounts, then the only thing you're actually able to get from your stable is just that perk of being able to use things while you're still mounted, and then of course the 20% increased movement speed. Now, in terms of the mounts that you can get, there's a Talbuk, there's an Elk, there's a Wolf, a Clefttooth, a River Beast, and a Boar. For the sake of just keeping my footage a bit more brief and contained, I just did the Talbuk and the Boar. And it just seemed like I do currently have a quest to go and tame the Waterhoof, and one thing I should, not the Waterhoof, the Water Beast. One thing about those taming quests is some of them are a bit more varied and shaken up. For an example, the quest to tame the River Beast was actually challenging enough because I had to chase it down over water while I was trying to keep it lassoed. But, yeah, that's really it. You know, it's a cool building, it's good for the mount collectors, and it gives you a nice little fun daily thing to do. Of course, this is also a building that they could maybe add to, so perhaps in a future patch we could get maybe a level 3 unique quest that gives you a cool mount or something like that. So I think it's a great feature as it's currently implemented, but also something that could be easily expanded upon to be really cool. So that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're looking forward to collecting some mounts, because I certainly am. And I'll see you next time.